Hello, dear viewers of the Sleep and History channel. Today, although the topic isn't particularly historical, I'll be here with an interesting subject. If you were born and living in an indigenous tribe in the Amazon rainforest, could you survive? This time, instead of diving into the mysteries of history, we'll journey to a tribe deep in the Amazon rainforest. We'll be born there and try to survive. Let's see what awaits us. Before we start the video, I want you to know that I put a lot of effort into preparing a video every day for you. If you subscribe to my channel and share with me in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is where you are, I'd be very happy. Knowing that views aren't just numbers but represent real people motivates me more every day. If you're ready, let's begin. Now, close your eyes and imagine yourself deep in the Amazon, in a lush green forest. Bird songs, insect buzzes, and the cries of unknown animals. This is your new home. The first thing you'll realize is that all the comforts of modern life, technology, and even your language are useless here. Your cell phone has no signal. There are no stores. The internet? What's that? To survive, you'll first need to learn the language of the forest. This isn't just about recognizing plants and animals. It's also about understanding the rhythm of the forest, its seasons, dangers, and bounty. Which plant is poisonous? Which is a source of healing? Which tree's fruit is edible? Which bark is used to make medicine? This knowledge comes from thousands of years of tribal wisdom passed down, and you'll have to learn it from scratch. When the tribe's elder tells you, "Chew this leaf and your fever will drop, but chew that one and you'll feel nauseous," you have to believe it, because you have no alternative. Then there's the issue of food and water. Will you be agile like the tribe's hunters and learn to hunt with poison arrows? Or will you grasp fishing techniques? Perhaps the most challenging part will be being constantly alert in an environment surrounded by potential threats like snakes, spiders, and jaguars. Dealing with dangers lurking around every corner of the forest will be a very different experience from the stress of city life. Now, keep your eyes closed and prepare to wake up. Normally, would you wake up to the annoying sound of your alarm? Or maybe you'd grab your phone and check your social media for the first posts of the day, right? But here, in the heart of the Amazon, everything is different. When you open your eyes, instead of your soft bed, a gently swinging hammock welcomes you. Perhaps it's strung between the branches of a tree, or inside a simple hut. Beneath you is the earth, around you are unknown sounds. The first thing you hear is not the city's noise but the forest's own symphony. Bird songs invite you to the day like an orchestra conductor. The chatter of monkeys, the buzz of insects, the rustle of a distant river. All this sounds so foreign and yet so fascinating. Instead of the cold screen of your phone, when you turn your head, you see the first sunlight filtering through the trees. The air has a humid smell, the scent of soil and leaves. This is very different from the clean air you're used to. It's a living scent. Your body experiences confusion at first. Where am I? You ask yourself. But then, slowly you realize. You are now in a new world. Inside a new life. You're wearing simple yet functional clothes made from natural fibers, perhaps ones you've never worn before. Your feet are bare because you need to get used to touching the earth. Waking up isn't just a physical shock but a mental one as well. Where's your phone? Don't you need to check the time? Aren't you going to check your emails? What was your daily plan? As these questions flood your mind, you realize just how dependent you are on technology and the routines of the modern world. At that moment, they seem so empty and meaningless. Or perhaps you miss them even more. Your stomach starts to rumble slightly. There's no refrigerator, no coffee maker, no ready-made breakfast. It hits you again. To survive, you need to find food. This might be the first time in your life you truly feel how valuable food is and how difficult it is to obtain. This situation shakes you mentally but also initiates an adaptation process. The other members of the tribe have already woken up. Perhaps some have gone towards the river, some are preparing to light a fire, and others are getting ready for the day's hunt or gathering. The serenity and familiarity you see on their faces both inspire you and make you feel like a complete stranger. There's no weariness or rush in their eyes. They are simply living in the moment. You slowly get up from the hammock. As your feet touch the ground, you feel the coolness of the damp earth. Perhaps you go to a river to wash your face. The cold water revitalizes you. Looking around, you see that the hustle and bustle of the city has been replaced by nature's own flow. Everything is calm, slow, and so alive. This first morning teaches you not only about waking up in the Amazon, but also about awakening the wild and natural side within you. Perhaps you're starting to reconnect with something you've forgotten for years. With nature, with yourself, and with this new tribe. Waking up to bird songs instead of your phone might be one of the most real and awakening mornings of your life. The calm of your first morning, accompanied by bird songs, gives way to a harsh reality as a loud growl rises from your stomach. You're hungry. Very hungry. There are no stores, no refrigerators. Not even a familiar garden. Around you are 1,000 varieties of greenery, colorful fruits, and strange animals. But which are edible, and which are poisonous? You have no idea. This is where everything the modern world taught you becomes meaningless. The other members of the tribe have already gone about their daily tasks as if this situation were completely normal. Some are preparing for the hunt, others are climbing trees to gather things. As you watch their natural flow, only one question is on your mind: what am I going to do now? You're so hungry that everything you see looks like potential food. This is precisely the point where a lack of knowledge can be fatal for the first time. The Amazon is one of the places with the richest biodiversity in the world. So, finding food isn't hard, but finding what's edible is the real issue. A brightly colored fruit you come across might look tempting but could carry deadly poisons. Chewing a leaf from an unknown plant could put you in a coma within hours. It's as if the forest is playing a riddle game to test you. Even the elders or children of the tribe are much more knowledgeable than you about this. They know, through knowledge passed down from their ancestors over thousands of years, which plant is medicinal, which is poisonous, which fruit can be eaten in which season. Your only guides will be your instincts, and of course, the tribe's guidance. They will teach you that not only the leaf of a plant but also its root, flower, or fruit can have different levels of toxicity. They'll teach you that some plants are only edible after a specific preparation process. For example, the manioc cassava plant can contain deadly cyanide if not prepared correctly. So, regret won't help. Caution is essential. What about hunting? While the tribe's hunters move silently through the forest with their bows, arrows, or spears, you'll probably make noise and scare all the animals away. Catching a small bird might be a victory for you, while you'll watch a tribe member skillfully hunt a tapir or a monkey. But remember, hunting is full of dangers. Encountering predators like poisonous snakes, giant spiders, or jaguars means you're more likely to become the prey than the hunter. Fishing is also an option. The tribe knows methods using simple nets or plant poisons to stun fish. Even though the river might be abundant with fish, dangers like piranhas or electric eels are added risks. So, while chasing a meal, there's always the risk of becoming food yourself. That first moment of hunger will teach you a sense of gratitude you may have never felt in your life. Every morsel the tribe offers you will feel like salvation, a blessing. That simple porridge, that small piece of fruit will taste more delicious than the meals you've eaten in the most luxurious restaurants. Because this isn't just nutrition, it will also be a symbol of survival and belonging. During this process, you'll start to understand not only the forest but also your own body and mind. You'll learn how deep hunger can go, how valuable simple food is, and how much you need to adapt to survive. The danger of a wrong fruit will painfully remind you how vital knowledge and learning are. Yes, your first search for food in the Amazon won't just be a matter of the stomach. It will also be a lesson in knowledge, attention, and adaptation. And what about water, such a vital need? After that first hot Amazon morning, as the sun begins to descend, the first thing you'll feel is that dryness in your throat. Your body begins to whisper its need for water. But the lush green forest around you isn't a ready water reservoir as it appears. There are lakes, rivers, streams, but are they all drinkable? This is where you'll need to track like a water detective. First, you can follow the sound. Water usually doesn't hide, it announces itself. The sound of a distant waterfall, the rustle of a stream, or the sounds of animals drinking can show you the way. The second clue is animal tracks. Monkeys, birds, or other forest creatures gather near water sources. Following them is often the easiest way to reach a safe water source. After all, animals have better instincts than humans and usually don't prefer poisonous waters. Third, paying attention to plants can be helpful. Water can accumulate inside bamboo plants, or when the stems of some vines are cut, drinkable water can flow from them. In tropical regions, you can also collect rainwater accumulated on the leaves of large-leaved plants, like the elephant ear plant. But here, as always, being careful is essential, because stagnant water can be full of germs. One of the most important lessons the tribe will teach you is how to tell if water is clean. You'll learn that not all clear-looking water is safe, and its smell and color give clues. Finding water is one thing, making it drinkable is another. While in the city your hand reaches for a filter, here you have to trust the tribe's millennia-old wisdom. The tribe usually tries to keep water sources free from pollution and takes care to keep the water alive. Think about it. The water we waste while singing in the shower could be equivalent to a day's survival battle there. For Amazon tribes, water isn't just a beverage. It's a symbol of life and spirituality. Rivers and water sources are considered sacred. Many tribes have their own rituals and traditions regarding water. Gratitude ceremonies. Tribes hold special ceremonies to express their gratitude to water sources. Songs are sung, dances are performed, and offerings are made to the water during these rituals. Cleansing and purification. Water is used for spiritual cleansing as well as physical hygiene. Washing in the river in the morning isn't just a hygiene routine, it also means cleansing the soul. Celebrations and ceremonies. Events related to water, like the arrival of rain, the river flooding, or a bountiful fish catch, turn into major celebrations and Thanksgiving ceremonies for the tribes. Legends and stories. Legends about water nymphs, river spirits, or stories telling the power of water are an important part of the tribe's cultural heritage. These stories teach children the importance of water and how to respect it. These rituals will change your relationship with water too. You'll start to see water not just as a drink but as a sacred element that gives you life, cleanses your soul, and nourishes the land. Yes, in the Amazon, finding water and making it safe is one of the most critical survival skills. In this process, you'll get to know the forest and benefit from the tribe's thousands of years of wisdom. And what good is all this without a place to lay your head? While the Amazon's generosity dazzles you during the day, as the sun begins to set, you'll see a completely different face of the forest. The temperature will drop, humidity will rise, and unknown sounds will start rising from everywhere. At this moment, you'll realize you urgently need shelter. For the first night, you don't have the luxury of building a fancy house. What you need is a quick and functional shelter. One of the simplest methods for this is to create a slanted roof. You can find a sturdy tree branch or a fallen tree trunk and lean thinner branches against it to create a frame. Then, layer broad palm leaves, banana leaves, or water-resistant plants like ferns on top to form a roof. This is a simple solution that will protect you from rain and dew. You can spread dry leaves or moss underneath to stay somewhat away from the moisture and create a more comfortable ground. Maybe you'll have trouble sleeping the first night, but at least you'll have a place to take shelter. Remember how we even struggled to set up a tent? This time, you only have nature. After surviving the first night, you'll start observing and learning from the tribe's actual shelters. Amazon tribe homes are generally built in harmony with the forest, sustainably, and with local materials. There's no concrete, brick, or steel. Everything comes from the forest itself and returns to it. The materials used in building tribe houses are completely organic. Tree trunks and branches form the main skeleton and pillars of the house. Tribes are incredibly skilled at cutting and carrying the right trees. Palm leaves provide perfect waterproofing for roofs. The leaves are woven so skillfully that not a drop seeps inside even during heavy rains. This is a craft passed down through generations. Bamboo and reeds are used for weaving walls or creating partitions. They are light and durable. Clays and soil are used in some areas to reinforce walls or floors. Building a tribe house isn't just a physical job, it's also a social activity. All tribe members come together, help each other. This is like a ritual that strengthens tribal bonds, ensures knowledge transfer, and reinforces a sense of belonging. In this process, you'll also learn to use simple hand tools, stone axes, sharp reeds, how to tie knots, and how to build a living structure with the forest's materials. The shelter doesn't just protect you from external factors. It's also a reflection of the tribe's lifestyle. Inside, there might be an area where the fire is lit, a central point for cooking meals and community conversations. Hammocks are used for sleep and rest. Perhaps there are simple shelves or baskets to store your belongings. In the Amazon, a shelter doesn't just provide you with a physical refuge. It also offers a mental safe zone. Against the unknowns outside, it gives you a sense of control and plays a critical role in adapting to this new life. In our Amazon adventure, after food, water, and shelter, perhaps the most critical survival skill is the art of making fire. We're diving into the first lesson of survival without matches. For those of us accustomed to the cheapness and ease of that lighter or match in the city, making fire means opening the door to a whole different world. Let's learn how we can reignite one of humanity's greatest discoveries in the depths of the forest. As night falls, the cold and humidity of the Amazon make themselves felt even more. The surrounding darkness makes you feel even more vulnerable. At this point, you understand that fire is not just a light but also a survival tool. Warmth, the most effective way to maintain body heat in the night chill. Cooking, essential for making the food you've hunted or gathered safe, flavorful, and easier to digest. Water purification, boiling the water you've found to make it drinkable. Keeping predatory animals away. The flame and smoke of fire keep dangerous animals like jaguars and snakes away from you. Morale effect. A fire burning in the darkness takes away your loneliness, gives hope, and positively affects your mood. You know, gathering around the fire like in the movies gives a person confidence. Signaling. In emergencies, you can send a help signal with smoke or flame. So, fire isn't just a source of heat. It also means security, nutrition, and psychological support. Without it, your chance of survival is quite low. While lighting a lighter takes a few seconds in the city, making fire in the forest requires patience, the right materials, and the right technique. The tribe will teach you that ancient wisdom passed down for thousands of years. You'll probably fail in your first attempts, your hands will hurt, maybe you'll even have a crisis of confidence. But remember, this lesson is essential for survival. The most basic fire-making methods are as follows. Friction method: hand drill or bow drill. This is perhaps the method we see most in movies. The tribe will teach you how to create heat through friction by rapidly rotating a dry stick, the drill, on another dry piece of wood, the fireboard. This heat will turn the wood dust into embers, and you'll carefully transfer this ember to a prepared fire nest, tinder made of things like bird feathers, dry grass, tree bark, to ignite it. The bow drill uses a bow to rotate the drill stick faster. This is an energy-intensive but one of the most reliable methods. Fire plow. A groove is carved into a dry piece of wood. Another wooden stick is rubbed back and forth within this groove to create friction. The resulting wood dust and heat create an ember. It requires less muscle power but still demands patience. Percussion method: flint and steel. If the tribe has an iron piece, perhaps an old tool, and a firestone, a mineral like flint, you can strike these two together and drop the sparks into the fire nest. This method is relatively faster but requires finding the right materials. What's common in every method is dry material. Finding dry wood and tinder in the humid environment of the Amazon can be a struggle in itself. The tribe will show you where to find the best dry materials, how to protect them from moisture, and how to prepare the fire nest. The moment you succeed in lighting a fire, an indescribable pride and relief will fill you. Looking at that first fire you made, you won't just be looking at a pile of wood. You'll also be witnessing humanity's struggle and success that has continued for thousands of years. Those tiny flames won't just give you warmth and light. They'll also give you a sense of hope and control. The tribe gathering around, singing songs, telling stories, or cooking their meals around the fire will show that fire is not only a physical but also a social and spiritual center. The fire is a focal point where the tribe comes together, shares, and feels safe. You know, like how we gather in cafes in the city, there, the area around the fire is their cafe, their television, everything. This experience will give you a deep respect for fire. You'll no longer see it merely as fuel. You'll perceive it as an ancient force that gives life, protects, and brings together. When you understand how difficult it is to make fire without matches, you'll once again remember how valuable simple things are. Now imagine. You don't have a futuristic hunting rifle. You don't have thermal cameras or binoculars. For hunting, you only have your hands, eyes, ears, and the simple but deadly weapons the tribe will teach you. The tribe's basic hunting tools are generally as follows. Bow and arrow, perhaps the most iconic hunting weapon. Arrows are made from carefully selected hardwoods, and their tips are usually fitted with sharpened bamboo, fish bones, or even animal teeth. But the real secret lies in the poison applied to the tips of these arrows. Amazon tribes obtain powerful poisons from frog skins or certain plants. These poisons typically paralyze the hunted animal's heart or nervous system, rendering the prey helpless quickly and silently. Think about it. Preparing that poison alone is a chemistry lesson in itself. Spear, used for larger prey or situations requiring close combat. Made from long, sturdy tree branches, with sharpened wood or stone attached to the tip. Spear throwing skill requires both strength and accuracy. Blowgun, used for smaller prey, it's a silent and effective weapon. Made from a hollow reed or bamboo, with small poison darts placed inside. It's launched by blowing. This is a perfect method for hunting while concealed. Ambush and traps. In addition to weapons, tribes also use various snares and ambush techniques to catch animals. This is a strategy based on the hunter's intelligence, not physical strength. The most important rule in hunting is silence. You must adapt to the sounds of the forest, move without stepping on leaves, and notice even the slightest movement of your prey. Every move, every breath has the potential to scare the prey away. So, the hunter must merge with the forest itself. Tribes usually don't hunt alone. Hunting is a collective effort and is done with strategies distilled from thousands of years of experience. There is perfect division of labor and communication among tribe members. They usually communicate with silent signals or by imitating the sounds of the forest. Hunting strategies vary depending on the situation. Tracking and patience. Tribe hunters can track an animal's trail for hours, even days. By reading footprints, droppings, broken branches, they understand which way the animal went, when it drank water, or where it rested. This requires incredible knowledge of nature and patience. Group hunts and ambushes. When hunting large animals, like tapirs or wild boars, tribe members move in groups. One group drives the animal in a certain direction, while the other group lies in ambush. This requires flawless coordination and trust. Environmental knowledge. Tribe hunters know the forest's topography, vegetation, and animal behavior perfectly. Which animal sleeps where, which fruit attracts which animal, when they come to which water source. This knowledge plays a vital role in the hunt's success. Fishing with plant poisons. To fish in the river, plant poisons are sometimes used. Tribe members crush the roots or leaves of certain plants, like timbo or barbasco, and put them in the water. These plants paralyze the fish's respiratory system, causing them to surface. However, this poison is safe for humans and makes the fish edible. This method is also applied carefully for sustainable fishing. For Amazon tribes, hunting isn't just about filling the stomach. It also expresses a deep respect for the forest and the hunted animal. They don't hunt unnecessarily. Every hunt is met with gratitude to the spirit of the forest and the animal's spirit. Rituals before and after the hunt are an indicator of this respect. Every part of the hunt is utilized. The meat is eaten, bones are used to make tools, skins are used for clothing or shelter. Waste is not a concept in tribal culture. In this process, you'll move away from the fast consumption mentality of city life and develop a sense of gratitude for everything nature provides. When you understand how much effort it takes to obtain food, you might even look differently at every meal you've left on your plate until now. After the day's hunting hustle, when you come to the riverbank, you'll feel a different peace. However, this peace shouldn't lull you into complacency. Amazon rivers can be as mysterious and dangerous as they appear calm. Before you start fishing, the first lesson the tribe will teach you will be patience and observation. Instead of jumping into the water suddenly or making noise, first observe the river's flow, the color of the water, the activity on the surface, and the vegetation on the banks. Which fish swim in shallow water? Which ones like the current? Which ones hide behind rocks? The tribe will teach you to observe the behavior of fish, their movements, and feeding habits. You know, even in the city, the best fishermen find the most productive spot with patience and observation. In the Amazon, this skill saves lives. So, do you have a fishing rod? Of course not. The methods the tribe uses are very different and much more natural than the ones we know. Simple lines and hooks. Tribe members use simple lines made from strong plant fibers or tree barks and hooks made from bone, thorns, or shaped wood pieces. For bait, they usually use insects, small fruits, or pieces of other fish. Hand fishing. Surprisingly, some tribes are masters at catching fish by setting ambushes in the river or putting their hands into holes underwater. This requires both courage and incredible manual dexterity. Nets and baskets. For more efficient fishing, tribes use simple nets or basket traps woven from plant fibers. These nets are set in fish passageways or used to trap fish in certain areas. Plant poisons timbo or barbasco. As mentioned before, some tribes stun fish by putting crushed roots of certain plants, like timbo or barbasco, into the water. This poison brings the fish to the surface and allows them to be caught easily. However, this method is only applied in specific areas and carefully so as not to harm the aquatic ecosystem. However generous the Amazon rivers are, they are also full of dangers. There are some enemies to watch out for while fishing. Piranhas. They don't attack at every moment like in the movies, but they can be quite aggressive towards the scent of blood or a struggling prey. Especially if you're wounded or there's blood in the water, you should stay away from them. The first rule the tribe will teach you is not to enter the water barefoot where there are piranhas. Electric eel. These friends are like a living power plant. They can produce an electric shock of up to 600 volts upon contact. This shock may not kill you but can cause loss of consciousness and drowning. Being careful of them while fishing or swimming in the river is vital. Caimans, a type of alligator, the silent hunters of rivers and swamps. They wait motionless on the water's surface for their prey. You should approach the water carefully, especially at dusk or dawn. Candora fish, toothpick fish, yes, perhaps one of the most frightening. This small parasitic fish is attracted to urine or open wounds and can enter body orifices. Although their stories are exaggerated, it's still a species you need to be careful of. That's why tribes teach taking certain precautions when relieving themselves or swimming in the river. Despite all these difficulties, the first fish you catch with the tribe's help will be one of the most delicious meals you've ever eaten. The smell of fresh fish cooked over the fire will take away all your fatigue and give you an incredible sense of achievement. This fish won't just fill your stomach. It will also be tangible proof of your bond with the forest and the river. For the tribe, fish is an important food source, and the caught fish are usually shared with the entire community. This sharing strengthens tribal bonds and reinforces gratitude for nature's bounty. A small ritual or a song after fishing could be an indicator of their respect for the water and the creature they hunted. Now visualize it. You're surrounded by lush green, incredible vegetation. Every shape, every color, every texture. A huge botanical garden, but of the kind without labels. In moments when hunger presses you or a small wound needs medicine, this vegetation will be your supermarket and pharmacy. But remember, a wrong decision here could cost you your life. A brightly colored fruit could carry a deadly poison, while an ordinary-looking herb could be a life-saving medicine. The tribe's plant knowledge is a living library distilled from thousands of years of experience, passed down from generation to generation. They know the secret of every leaf, every root, every fruit. You, however, need to learn these secrets from scratch. This isn't just about memorization, it's a process that requires observation, patience, and experience. It's like taking the most important botany lesson of your life, and if you fail the exam, the consequences are severe. To distinguish edible plants, there are basic rules the tribe will teach you. You shouldn't put everything in your mouth just because it's colorful or smells nice. Observe what animals eat. Monkeys, birds, and other herbivores usually prefer safe foods. But remember, some plants eaten by animals can be poisonous to you. So you can't say, "If a bird eats it, I can eat it too." Smell test. Pay attention to the plant's smell. If it has a sharp, bitter, or bad odor, it's best to stay away. However, this alone isn't a sufficient indicator. Touch test. If touching the plant causes itching, burning, or redness, don't eat it. The sap of some plants can also be irritating. Small piece test. As a last resort, and very risky, this is the riskiest method and should be used only under the tribe's supervision or for a plant you trust completely. Rub a very small piece of the plant, about the size of your palm, first on your lips. Wait 5 minutes. Then rub it on your tongue. Wait 5 minutes. Then chew it but don't swallow. Wait 5 minutes. If you don't feel any burning, itching, numbness, or discomfort, swallow a very small piece and wait 8 hours. If you don't show any symptoms during this time, it can be assumed that that part of the plant in that amount is edible. But this is definitely a risky method and should be the last resort. The tribe's wisdom. Of course, the most reliable method is the tribe showing and teaching you directly. They know which root is starchy, which leaf can be eaten as a salad, like the back of their hand. Basic food sources like manioc, cassava, can be poisonous if not prepared correctly. The tribe will teach you how to peel, grate, extract the juice, and cook manioc. This isn't just food preparation, it's also survival chemistry. The Amazon is also one of the world's largest natural pharmacies. The tribe's healers, the shamans, know the secrets of hundreds of plants to treat illnesses and injuries. You'll also try to become a part of this wisdom. Fever reducers. You'll learn which leaf, when chewed, lowers fever or whose tea relaxes the body. Pain relievers. You'll discover that extracts obtained from the bark of certain trees or the roots of plants have natural pain-relieving properties. Wound healers. Plant extracts or crushed leaves with antiseptic properties that can be applied to cuts or scrapes can help prevent infections. Antidotes. There are also antidote plants used to reduce the effect of poison in case of poisonous bites or contact. However, this knowledge is very special and critical. This knowledge isn't something that can be learned just from books. It is gained through experience, observation, and the tribe's transmission. Just like how we trusted our grandmother's herbal teas instead of going to the doctor, there the tribe's healer will be your only doctor. This process will teach you that nature isn't just a resource but a living entity. Plants have a language, and you'll begin to understand it. Every plant whispers a story to you: nourishment, healing, or danger. Tribe members show respect to plants when gathering them. They don't harm them unnecessarily, because they know these plants are their source of life and must be preserved for future generations. This will give you a deep sense of gratitude and responsibility towards nature. You'll no longer see a forest as just trees. You'll understand that each plant carries a unique life and benefit. But the Amazon is also home to some of the world's most poisonous snake species. They can dangle from tree branches. They can hide in bushes. They can even set ambushes in the shallow waters of the river. You know how we make noise as if to say, "I'm coming." They approach silently. You won't even feel it. Poisonous species, green anacondas. Although large, they are generally not poisonous. They kill their prey by constriction. Pit vipers, lancehead snakes, and coral snakes. These names alone are enough to make your hair stand on end. One bite can lead to paralysis, internal bleeding, or death within hours. The first lesson the tribe will teach you is to watch every step. Be careful before touching any bush, and never touch an unknown snake. Masters of camouflage. These animals are the masters of camouflage in the forest. They hide so well among leaves, tree bark, that you might not notice them until you step on them. While walking, you'll need to look not only ahead but also to the sides and above. The hunters at the very top of the forest aren't just snakes. The Amazon is also home to the jaguar, the largest cat in South America. These magnificent animals are experts at hunting both on land and in water and are usually active at night. For them, you are potential prey. Mysterious and dangerous. Although jaguars don't frequently attack humans, they can be dangerous when hungry or feeling threatened. The best way to stay away from them is to choose your camp well, keep your fire alive, and not wander in the forest alone. Other large animals, puma, tapir, a large pig-like animal, and wild boars are other large creatures you might encounter in the forest. Tapirs are generally not aggressive, but they can go on the defensive when they feel threatened. Wild boars move in herds and can be quite aggressive. But the only thing that can kill you in the Amazon isn't big animals. The real battle is often with an invisible army, insects and parasites. These are perhaps the most insidious and annoying dangers in the forest. Mosquitoes and diseases. Not only are their bites itchy and uncomfortable, but they can also carry deadly diseases like malaria, dengue, and Zika virus. Tribes use herbal medicines and traditional methods against these diseases. You, however, will need constant protection. Wearing long-sleeved clothing, using natural insect repellents, if the tribe teaches you, and especially staying away from stagnant water. Horseflies and sandflies. Their bites are painful and can lead to inflammation. Tarantulas and scorpions. Although their venom is usually not fatal, their bites are often very painful and increase the risk of infection. Be careful where you put your feet and hands. Ants and termites. Some ant species, like bullet ants, cause incredible pain with their bites. Termites can destroy your shelter in a short time. Parasites and infections. Various parasites transmitted through dirty water, raw food, or insect bites can cause diarrhea, fever, and general exhaustion, leaving you vulnerable. Following hygiene rules and the tribe's advice is vital. In the Amazon, to cope with these dangers, you need two fundamental things: knowledge and respect. Knowledge, knowing which animal is active when, which plants are poisonous. The tribe's experience will be your greatest guide here. Respect, respecting the inhabitants of the forest. Not trespassing on their living spaces and not provoking them unnecessarily. Remember, you are in their home. These dangers will keep you constantly alert and teach you how merciless the forest can be. But at the same time, you'll understand that behind each danger is part of the forest's complex ecosystem, and that every creature is fighting its own struggle for life. Now close your eyes and imagine that moment. You're deep in the forest, alone, when suddenly a group of people appears before you. Maybe hunters, maybe gatherers. They look at you, you look at them. This is a moment of complete culture shock for you. Your simple clothes, the unknown language you're trying to speak, every movement, every glance, all are being questioned. For them, You are a mysterious being from another world. For you, they are the people opening the door to a completely different world where you will spend the rest of your life. Your first reaction will probably be fear and uncertainty. You don't know what they're thinking. Will they accept you or see you as a threat? In these first moments, the tribe's approach to you is of vital importance. Generally, Amazon tribes exhibit an initially cautious but curious attitude towards strangers. Instead of being aggressive, they observe you. What you need to do: stay calm. Panicking or making sudden movements might scare them. Be respectful. Be careful with eye contact. Avoid movements that could be perceived as disrespectful according to their cultural norms. Show willingness to help. Maybe help them carry wood. Maybe do a simple task. The language barrier will be your biggest obstacle at first. You can't speak, you don't understand. Therefore, your actions will speak much louder than your words. Gaining trust is a process that takes time and requires patience. Observation and imitation. Carefully observe the tribe's customs, daily routines. When do they wake up? What do they eat? How do they behave? Trying to imitate their movements shows you're trying to adapt. How do they eat their meals? How do they approach the water? All these small details will give clues about you. Sharing and helping. One of the tribe's most basic values is sharing. Like everyone sharing the food they brought from hunting or gathering, you should also contribute as much as you can. Try to help them hunt. Join them in gathering plants. Help look after the children. Small helps can make a big difference. You know, it's like offering a plate of food to a neighbor here, but there it's a vital form of help. Be humble. Emphasizing that you come from the modern world or acting superior can hinder your acceptance. Show that you respect their knowledge and lifestyle, that you are willing to learn. You are a student. They are your teachers. Keep secrets. If you are shown any secret or custom of the tribe, you may need to swear not to reveal it to the outside world if you ever return. This is one of the most important ways to gain their trust. Understand humor. Humor is a bridge in every culture. Trying to understand the tribe's jokes and laughing with them can break the ice between you. As you begin to gain trust, you'll notice the tribe including you more in their customs and rituals. These aren't just strange ceremonies. They are also a reflection of their identity, beliefs, and worldview. Daily routines, everything from washing in the river in the morning to how meals are cooked, children's games, follows a pattern. Keeping up with these routines shows you belong to the tribe. Dietary customs. There might be special customs about how to eat the food, who to share it with, or which animal's meat is sacred. For example, some tribes see certain animals as totems and do not hunt them. Healing and spiritual connections. The tribe's healer, the shaman, is an important figure. Participating in his rituals, observing his efforts to connect with forest spirits helps you understand the tribe's spiritual world. Perhaps through these ceremonies, you'll experience your own spiritual transformation. Ceremonies and festivals, special events like births, deaths, hunting success, or seasonal transitions are celebrated with ceremonies that bring the tribe together. Your participation in these ceremonies shows you are also part of the tribe. Maybe they'll give you a special name or accept you among them through a ritual. Communication rules. There are unwritten rules about who to speak to, how, which topics to discuss, or which gestures are inappropriate. Learning these helps you avoid social blunders. Adapting to the tribe isn't just a physical survival struggle. It's also a mental and spiritual transformation journey. It means learning to set aside your own self and become part of a community. This will make you both more flexible and more humble, as well as more sensitive towards nature and people. After that shocking moment when you first arrive at the tribe, you'll painfully realize how significant a barrier language is. You don't understand what's being said, nor can you express yourself. This is where humanity's most primitive but powerful communication tool comes into play: body language and facial expressions. Surviving through sign language. You'll show you're hungry by holding your stomach, indicate you're thirsty by making a drinking motion with your hand. You'll try to say morning by pointing to the sun, and night by pointing to the moon and stars. You know, like how you might point and say, "Give me that thing," to your spouse at home. Here, you'll have to act out a pantomime for everything. Eye contact and expressions. How you make eye contact with tribe members, your facial expressions, your body posture, all will tell them a lot about your intentions. A reassuring smile, a fearful look, or a curious raised eyebrow can be more meaningful than words. But you must be careful. In some cultures, eye contact is perceived as disrespectful, while in others it's a sign of trust. You'll have to learn the tribe's customs on this by observing. Imitation and demonstration. When tribe members want to teach you something, they will usually show you by doing. You'll learn by trying to imitate them. For example, learning how to fish or which plant is edible through demonstration is much safer and faster than trial and error. It's like a game of monkey see, monkey do. But here, life is at stake. Body language can only take you so far. For true integration, you must learn the tribe's language. This won't start with grammar rules like in school. It will be based entirely on imitating sounds and practicing. The tribe's children will be your best teachers in this process. They won't embarrass you for repeating words or mispronouncing them. So, what are the first words you'll need to learn? Of course, the most basic ones for survival. Water. This will likely be the first word you learn. When thirsty, you'll point to water and repeat this word. Food or hungry. Showing your stomach and saying this word will prompt the tribe to help you. Yes or no. Affirmation and negation are the basics of communication. Danger, snake, animal names. Vital for understanding what awaits you in the forest. The word for snake could save your life in an instant. Come, go. Necessary to understand directions and follow simple commands. I, you, we. Learning pronouns by pointing at people will help define your place within the tribe. The tribe's name or the leader's name. Knowing who you're speaking to and the tribe's name is a sign of respect. Morning, night, sun. The first words to help you understand concepts of time. While learning these words, you'll struggle with pronunciation. The tribal language may have sounds, stresses, and intonations very different from what we're used to. You might discover that saying a word with a different inflection gives it a completely different meaning. Tribe members will likely respond to your efforts with smiles or patience. You'll keep learning by listening and imitating, again and again and again. Learning a language isn't just about memorizing words. It's also about learning the culture, mindset, and worldview behind that language. The tribe's language will reflect their relationship with the forest, their beliefs, their life philosophy. Abstract concepts like hope, future, stress, common in the modern world, may find no equivalent in the tribal language or be expressed in very different ways. They live in the present. Relationship with nature. In the tribe's language, you might find expressions indicating that everything in nature, plants, animals, rivers, has its own spirit. This will make you question your own perspective on nature. Stories and songs. To understand the depths of the language, you must listen to the tribe's stories and songs. These oral traditions will teach you the tribe's history, legends, and values. This process will transform you from just someone learning a new language to gradually becoming part of the tribe. Each new word, each understood sentence will be a small door opening into the tribe's world. Although the language barrier may seem like a wall at first, as you break it down, you'll feel the fundamental bonds of humanity more deeply. In our Amazon adventure, as we adapt to the tribe, we delve into one of the most important social dynamics: the roles of women and men, the tribe's daily division of labor, and perceptions of gender. While gender roles are constantly debated in the modern world, deep in the Amazon, there is a balance and division of labor that has continued for thousands of years. This isn't just about who does what job. It also reflects that society's worldview, values, and how they view each other. Let's examine this interesting social structure closely. Now think, what is the tribe's fundamental goal? To survive, to feed, to shelter, and to sustain the lineage. To achieve this great goal, each individual has a role, a responsibility. Very different from job descriptions in the modern world, here every task directly or indirectly serves to sustain the tribe's life. The roles of women and men are generally shaped by physical strength, fertility, and areas of expertise. But most importantly, they are based on interdependence. Neither women nor men can survive without the other. It's like an orchestra. Each instrument has a different role, but when they come together, they create a perfect melody. In Amazon tribes, men are generally the tribe's hunters and protectors. Their main responsibilities: hunting, delving into the depths of the forest to hunt game, tapirs, and fish is the men's primary duty. This is an art requiring not just physical strength and endurance, but also forest knowledge, tracking skills, and patience. The use of poison arrows and spears demonstrates their expertise in this area. Protection, protecting the tribe and their living areas from external threats, other tribes or wild animals, is the men's responsibility. This may sometimes require standing guard or fighting in times of conflict. Major construction, physically demanding tasks like building the main framework of tribal houses, like malokas. Felling and transporting large trees are usually done by men. Exploration and border protection, discovering new hunting areas, defining the tribe's boundaries, and detecting potential threats may also be among the men's duties. Men are usually more in communication with the outside world and play an important role in the tribe's external relations. This leads to them being more associated with physical courage and strength. Women, on the other hand, are the tribe's gatherers, nurturers, and the heart of the home. They are vital for maintaining the tribe's daily life. Food gathering and processing, gathering fruits, vegetables, roots, seeds like manioc, and herbs from the forest is women's primary task. The processes to make these gathered products edible, like removing manioc poison, making flour, belong entirely to women. This requires botanical knowledge and meticulous work. Childcare and education, the care, feeding, and initial education of children, the tribe's future, is women's responsibility. This is a critical task for the continuation of the lineage. Household chores and shelter maintenance. Daily household tasks like maintaining and cleaning huts, keeping the fire alive, cooking, and making clothes are usually done by women. Crafts, artistic and functional skills like basket weaving, pottery making, hammock weaving, and obtaining dyes from plants are generally common among women. Small game hunting. In some tribes, women can also specialize in catching small birds, insects, or fish with nets or by hand. Women play a very important role in the tribe's internal dynamics, social relationships, and cultural transmission through storytelling and songs. They are the elements that hold the tribe together and carry its culture to future generations. In Amazon tribes, gender perception generally operates differently from Western concepts of equality or hierarchy. Here, the idea isn't that one gender is superior to the other. Instead, the complementarity and interdependence of roles is fundamental. Every role is equally valuable for the tribe's survival. The hunter-gatherer cannot stand without the food provided by the gatherer, nor can the gatherer stand without the protein and protection provided by the hunter. Consultation and joint decisions. It's observed that when tribes make some important decisions, like migrating or organizing a large hunting party, leaders or elders from both women and men come together and decide jointly. Everyone's voice is heard. Rituals and roles. Some rituals may be exclusive to men or women only. This reinforces their own gender identities and social roles. Flexibility. Of course, these roles aren't separated by strict lines. When necessary, men can gather, and women can participate in defense. However, the general tendency and areas of expertise are shaped this way. When you become a part of this tribe, you'll see how functional and natural this division of labor is. You'll assume a role according to your own gender, and will need to respect that role. This experience will give you a completely new perspective on gender roles and make you question your perceptions in the modern world. Now, imagine. While our children play ball in the schoolyard or watch cartoons on tablets, Amazon's children wake up every day in the world's largest natural classroom. For them, there is no classroom with walls. Instead of textbooks, trees, rivers, plants, and animals are their greatest teachers. Mathematics is learned by counting hunted fish or gathered fruits. Biology through the life cycle of every creature in the forest. Geography through the flow of rivers and the paths of the forest. You know how we have life science class? There, life itself teaches the knowledge. The education system for children in the tribe is based entirely on learning through observation, imitation, and experience. Parents, elders, and other tribe members are their natural teachers. A child learns by watching their father hunt, seeing their mother gather plants, or listening to an elder's stories. Instead of being scolded when they make a mistake, they are asked to repeat until they find the right way. This is the purest form of what we call learning by doing. The games of Amazon children aren't just for entertainment. They are also one of the most important ways to prepare for life and develop survival skills. Their toys aren't industrial products. They are branches, leaves, stones they find from the forest itself, or simple models they make themselves. Hunting and gathering imitation. Boys often play hunting games by making small bows and arrows or carving spears. They take aim at targets. They imitate animal tracks. Girls, on the other hand, play games imitating their mothers, like gathering plants, preparing food, or weaving baskets. These games teach them the roles they will undertake in the future. Swimming and paddling. Rivers are their playground. They learn to swim at an early age and discover how to paddle simple canoes. These are vital skills in the tribe's life. Tree climbing. Trees provide them with both a play area and shelter. Tree climbing skill is critical for gathering fruit or escaping dangers. Hide and seek and tracking games. By playing hide and seek or tracking games in the forest, they get to know their surroundings and develop camouflage and tracking skills. These games are like little spy trainings. Storytelling and music. In the evenings, they listen to the legends and stories told by elders around the fire. They create their own songs. They learn to play tribal musical instruments, simple flutes, drums. This allows them to absorb their cultural heritage. These games allow children to develop their physical, mental, and social skills naturally. Cooperation and adaptation to the community are prioritized over competition. Amazon children grow up in complete harmony with nature. For them, the forest is not an enemy but a friend, a mother, and a teacher. This upbringing instills values very different from those of our city children. Sustainability awareness. They instinctively learn that resources are limited and nature must be protected. There is no waste. Everything is utilized. Gratitude and respect. They develop a deep sense of gratitude for everything nature provides. They know the value of a hunt or a gathered fruit. Social bonds. They grow up with a sense of belonging to the community rather than individualism. The tribe's success comes before individual achievement. Everyone trusts and supports each other. Sensory awareness. Their senses of smell, sound, and touch are much sharper. They can sense approaching danger or track an animal by the slightest sound or smell. Practical knowledge. They possess practical knowledge aimed at survival rather than book knowledge. Instead of memorizing what a plant is used for, they know how to use it. These children don't carry future anxiety in the sense we know. Their future is intertwined with the continuity of the tribe and the forest. Each new generation sustains the knowledge received from their ancestors and passes it on to those after them. Yes, the lives of children in the Amazon offer us a different perspective on the concepts of education and play. They are little explorers, both fragile and incredibly resilient, growing up under the guidance of nature and the wisdom of the tribe. So, how important is the tribe's healer or spiritual leader in this society? And what can they teach you about healing? Now think. When you have a headache, a cut, or a fever, what do? You run to a pharmacy. You make a doctor's appointment, right? In the middle of the Amazon, none of that exists. The tribe's healer is for you, a doctor, a pharmacist, a psychologist, and a religious leader all in one. Their role is much broader and deeper than our modern healthcare system. You have to trust them because you have no alternative. Becoming the tribe's healer is no easy task. This knowledge is usually transferred to individuals chosen from a young age and requires a long apprenticeship period. Healers not only know plants, it is also believed they can communicate with the spiritual world, ward off evil spirits, and support healing through spiritual means. While doctors write prescriptions here, there they treat body and soul simultaneously with plants and prayers. Since the Amazon has the richest biodiversity in the world, it is also an endless natural pharmacy. The healer knows every corner, every shelf, and every medicine of this vast pharmacy by heart. You'll have to learn this knowledge from them. Of course, this won't be that easy. Because much of this knowledge has been kept secret for generations, considered sacred. Some of the herbal medicines the healer might use include pain relievers and fever reducers. The bark or leaves of some plants can act like natural aspirin, relieving pain or reducing fever. For example, willow bark is the source of salicylic acid, the raw material of modern aspirin. Antiseptics and wound healers, plant extracts and pastes that stop bleeding, prevent infection, and speed up wound healing are used. Some plants may even have natural antibiotic properties. Plant extracts applied to cuts or insect bites will be your first aid kit. Solutions for digestive problems. Different herbal teas or leaves to chew are used for diarrhea, constipation, or stomach aches. Antidotes. Antidote plants used against snake or insect bites are among the most valuable knowledge in healing. How these plants are prepared and applied is of vital importance. Spiritual healing plants. Some plants are used not only for physical but also to support spiritual healing. These plants can facilitate entering a trance, seeing visions, or communicating with spiritual guides. Plants like ayahuasca are used in such rituals and are usually consumed only under the healer's supervision. The healer's way of using plants isn't just about the plant itself, it's also about the preparation method. Roots are boiled, leaves are crushed, bark is powdered. Each plant has a different application method. In Amazon tribes, illness isn't seen as just a physical ailment. It's often accepted as the result of a spiritual imbalance, the influence of an evil spirit, or a discord within the community. Therefore, the healer's treatment method is multifaceted. Herbal treatment, of course, the main healing is done with herbal medicines. The healer finds, prepares, and gives the right plant to the patient. Rituals and ceremonies. The healer may sing, play drums, blow smoke, or dance to heal the patient. These rituals are to drive away evil spirits and prepare the patient's soul for healing. Massage and touch. Touching the body, massaging, or applying pressure to certain points can also be part of the healing process. Community support. Tribe members visit the patient, give them morale, and support the healing process. Illness is not just the individual's problem but the entire tribe's. Storytelling. The healer tells healing stories or legends to the patient to keep their spirits high and strengthen their belief in recovery. In this process, you'll encounter a very different understanding of healing from the scientific approach of modern medicine. You may struggle with the skepticism within you, but in desperation, you'll have no choice but to surrender to the healer's wisdom. And perhaps you'll be surprised, because in many cases, you'll see that these natural methods work. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing you look at, before sleeping, the last thing you see, the cell phone you can't put down all day, what good will it do in the Amazon? The answer is simple: none. No signal, no charge, no Wi-Fi. You can't call, send a message, or prove you're there by browsing social media. At first, this situation will give you a feeling of emptiness, a sense of deprivation. You'll feel as if you've lost a limb. A kind of digital detox, but the forced kind. But as time passes, you'll start to realize how meaningless that phone actually is. To talk with the tribe, you need language and body language, not a screen. To find your way, you need the sun, the stars, and the tribe's knowledge, not GPS. To have fun, you need the sounds of the forest, the tribe's stories and games, not games or videos. That bright screen will gradually turn into a dull piece of wood in your eyes. At most, it could serve as a small hand mirror. That is, if the tribe says it's appropriate to look in a mirror. And what about that wallet you always carry with you, a symbol of your security, worth, and freedom? The bank cards, IDs, cash inside, none of it has any meaning in the Amazon. You can't swipe a credit card to pick a fruit. You can't pay money to drink water. The tribe's economy is based on barter and sharing. It's not about who has how much money, but about who is more useful to the tribe. This will start to make you question the real value of money and material accumulation. You'll see that the money you worked so hard to accumulate in the city can't protect you from hunger, thirst, or dangers here. Real value lies in the practical skills you possess, your contribution to the tribe, and the relationship you build with them. So your wallet might turn into a pouch to store small stones for a while. That's it. Those stylish t-shirts, brand name shoes, accessories you brought with you, although they may give you a sense of protection or belonging at first, they will quickly lose their function in the humid and hot climate of the Amazon. Cotton clothing doesn't dry. Your sneakers get lost in the mud. You'll realize that the tribe's simple, breathable clothes made from natural fibers, or even nudity, are much more suitable for this climate. The clothes the tribe will teach you to make from certain plant fibers or animal skins are much more practical and durable. These clothes, decorated with natural dyes, provide both protection and reflect the tribe's cultural identity. Other items, your watch, your glasses if you have them, maybe a small knife, some may be useful for a limited time, but over time they may get lost, break, or give way to natural tools the tribe makes themselves. For example, a metal knife is useful, but the tribe's sharpened stones or bamboo can do the same job. In this process, you'll question what you really need. Your needs will be based on survival rather than wants. The concept of luxury will transform into basic things like sitting by a warm fire, having a full stomach, or sleeping in a safe hammock. Every day you spend in the Amazon will make you question the value concept imposed on you by the modern world from top to bottom. You'll understand that your possessions don't define you, that accumulating or consuming doesn't bring true happiness. You'll realize that real wealth lies in the connection you establish with nature, in your relationships with people, in the moments you share, and in the survival skills you learn. That emptied wallet, the silence of your phone, and your simple clothes will actually make you feel freer and lighter. Perhaps this experience will make you a more conscious consumer, living a more minimalist life, and focusing on real values even when you return to modern life. You know how they say, fewer possessions, more life. That's exactly what you'll experience. For us in the city, living with every second planned, with minutes, hours, and calendars, what does it feel like to experience the completely different flow of time in the depths of the Amazon? Let's adapt to the rhythm of nature with the tribe and discover the true face of time. You don't have a watch on your wrist. There's no calendar hanging on the wall. You don't even have those digital numbers on your phone screen. At first, this situation will give you a feeling of emptiness, of being lost. A world without appointments, meetings, deadlines. It's as if your entire planner has been erased at once. The question, "What time is it?" will become meaningless, and this will create a strange relief in your mind. You know how we always say, "I don't have time." Here you are time itself. In the Amazon, the tribe's concept of time isn't shaped by abstract numbers like ours, but entirely by the cycle of natural events. For them, time is the present moment itself. They are not burdened by the regrets of the past or the anxieties of the future. They live in the moment. Because to survive, they must focus on every detail of that moment. In the Amazon, the day begins and ends with the movement of the sun. You wake up with the first light of morning, because the forest has begun a new day. Bird songs chirping, the warmth of the newborn sun. These are your alarm clock. At dawn, you start the day with other tribe members. Some go to the river, some light the fire, some prepare for the day's hunt or gathering. The forest comes alive with the first light. The sun being overhead, noon, the time when the sun is at its highest point, is usually the hottest hour. This could be a signal to rest, snack, or retreat to the shade. Tribe members adjust their work according to the sun's position. Sunset. As the sun begins to set, the tribe's daily activities slow down. Hunters return, gatherers bring their fruits. Dinner is prepared, the fire is lit, and as the last light of day fades, the tribe comes together. Sunset is the time when the tribe ends the day, gathers, and shares stories. By watching the sun's journey in the sky each day and listening to the sounds of the forest, you'll start to feel what time of day it is. This will give you an incredible sense of connection with nature. Now think. Those luxurious showers, bathtubs, hot water, all are in the past. In the Amazon, the river will be your greatest cleaning assistant. Going down to the river every day will become a ritual not only to cool off but also to clean your body and clothes, if you have any. Body cleaning. Tribe members usually bathe in the river in the mornings and at the end of the day. Instead of soap, they use crushed leaves or bark of certain plants. These plants have natural foaming or cleansing properties. Some tribes may even use clays or volcanic ashes that soften water and skin. This isn't a quick shower. It means surrendering yourself to the flow of the river and cleansing with natural elements. Dental care, no toothbrush or toothpaste. So what is there? The fibrous ends of some tree branches act as a natural toothbrush, while the chewed leaves or roots of certain plants eliminate bad breath and clean gums. So your organic toothpaste will be the forest's own plants. Hair care. You'll wash your hair with river water, maybe strengthen it with extracts from certain plants. Natural oils like coconut oil can be used as a conditioner instead of hair cream. This daily river ritual will give you not only physical cleanliness but also the peace of merging with nature and purification. In the Amazon, hygiene doesn't end with bathing in the river. The humid and hot climate is ideal for bacteria and fungus growth. Infections spread quickly, and even a small scratch can lead to serious problems. This is where the tribe's wisdom of natural disinfectants and protectors comes into play. Antiseptic plants. Tribe healers use crushed leaves or extracts of certain plants to clean wounds and prevent infection. The natural antiseptic properties of these plants accelerate wound healing. Insect repellents. Mosquitoes and other insects are not only annoying but also disease carriers. Tribes use the smoke of certain plants burned on the fire or herbal oils applied to the skin as natural insect repellents. You know how we spray? There, the plant itself will be your natural spray. Clothing and shelter hygiene. Clothes, if used, are regularly washed in the river and dried in the sun. Shelters are kept as clean and ventilated as possible. Hammocks or plant beds used for sleeping are regularly checked and cleaned. Waste management. Tribes manage their waste. Organic waste usually decomposes naturally, in a way that doesn't harm the environment. Human feces are left in suitable places away from water sources and covered. This is vital to prevent the spread of disease. Staying healthy in the Amazon isn't just about being clean. It's also about a holistic life philosophy. For tribes, health means the balance of body, mind, spirit, and environment. Nutrition, fresh, natural, and balanced nutrition keeps the immune system strong. Hunted animals, gathered plants, and fish provide all necessary nutrients for the body. Movement. The tribe's lifestyle requires constant physical activity. Hunting, gathering, walking, swimming, building huts. This natural exercise keeps the body fit. Stress management. Being away from the chronic stress of the modern world positively affects mental health. The tribe's rituals, stories, and community bonds help reduce stress. Connection with nature. Living in close contact with nature provides spiritual balance and peace. The sounds and tranquility of the forest rest the mind. Community support. In case of illness or injury, the social and emotional support provided by tribe members accelerates the healing process. Loneliness and isolation are among the greatest enemies. In this process, you'll learn that hygiene isn't just about appearance. It's also critical for survival. Staying clean won't just prevent disease. It will also give you a sense of self-confidence and comfort. For Amazon tribes, festivals are far beyond our understanding of entertainment. These are sacred times when the tribe celebrates, reinforces, and passes on to future generations its identity, beliefs, history, and deep bond with nature. For a moment, the difficulties of daily life are left behind. Everything is set aside, and the community comes together. These festivals are usually associated with specific natural events, seasonal changes, or important life cycle events. Harvest celebrations, held to celebrate the abundance of gathered fruits, roots, or caught fish. Gratitude is offered to Mother Nature and the spirits of the forest. Birth and coming-of-age rituals, important life transitions like the acceptance of a newborn into the tribe or young people stepping into adulthood are celebrated with enthusiasm. These rituals define the individual's place within the society. Hunting or fishing season opening/closing. Ceremonies are held to ask permission from or offer gratitude to hunting spirits when starting a new hunting season or ending a successful one. Seasonal changes. Natural cycles like the start of the rainy season or the arrival of the dry season are met with special ceremonies because they directly affect the tribe's life. Healing and spiritual rituals. Under the guidance of the tribe's healer, special ceremonies are held to connect with the spiritual world, drive away evil spirits, or accelerate healing. These festivals are not just a celebration, they are also a moment of social therapy, purification, and renewal. When you attend an Amazon tribe festival, all your senses will be activated. Everything is as alive and energetic as nature itself. Body painting and adornment. Tribe members prepare specially for festivals. They paint their faces and bodies with plant-based dyes like urucum or jenipapo. These dyes are not only aesthetic but also carry the tribe's symbols, animal figures, or spiritual patterns. Showy jewelry made of bird feathers, bright plant fibers, seashells, and animal teeth are worn. You know how we wear suits? There, their bodies become a work of art. Drum rituals and music. Rhythmic drum sounds are the heart of the festival. Wooden drums, rattles made from gourds, and bamboo flutes combine with the sounds of the forest to create a mesmerizing melody. Songs usually tell the tribe's history, legends, or stories about supernatural beings. Dances. Dance is essential to festivals. Tribe members participate in ritual dances that last for hours, even days. These dances are not just a physical activity. They are also a tool to establish spiritual connection, release energy, and strengthen social unity. Every movement, every step has a meaning and is inherited from their ancestors. Shared meals and drinks. Festivals also mean a great feast. Plenty of hunted meat, gathered fruits and vegetables are carefully cooked and shared by the tribe. Sometimes, lightly fermented alcoholic beverages, like chicha made from manioc, are also consumed. This is an expression of abundance and the community's gratitude to each other. Festivals are moments that strengthen the tribe's social fabric and remind each individual of their place within the community. Bringing generations together, elders tell stories to the young, passing on knowledge. Children learn by imitating adults and absorb the tribal culture. Everyone is in interaction with each other, strengthening social relations. During these times, peaceful relations with neighboring tribes can be established. Marriages for young people may be arranged, or internal disputes within the tribe can be resolved. Preserving cultural identity. Despite external pressures from the modern world, festivals are one of the most important ways for the tribe to preserve its own unique identity and pass it on to future generations. Trance and spiritual experiences. In some festivals, under the guidance of healers, hallucinogenic plants like ayahuasca may be used to experience spiritual trance states. This aims to help individuals connect with the spiritual world and strengthen the tribe's spiritual integrity. These experiences can be quite shocking and transformative for an outsider. When you become a part of these festivals, you might feel like a stranger at first. But over time, you'll be swept up by the rhythms, captivated by the magic of the colors, and feel united with the tribe's collective energy. This isn't just about watching, it's about living. When you first joined the tribe, you were more than just a person to them. Maybe not like an alien, but definitely someone from a different place. Their first glances were probably a mixture of curiosity and astonishment. Your clothes, maybe a few items you brought with you, your skin color, your way of speaking, everything was new to them. Strange habits. At first, you must have seemed very strange to them. Maybe constantly checking your wristwatch, which no longer worked, patting your pockets, your attitude while eating, or still holding onto your phone case. All of these were meaningless and perhaps amusing behaviors to them. Even your way of drinking water, your sleeping position were different from theirs. Helpfulness and pity. At the beginning, they must have seen how weak your survival skills were. Not being able to make fire, not finding the right plant, lacking hunting ability. All of these must have been surprising to them and perhaps evoked a bit of pity. An adult like you not knowing such basic things made you no different from a child in their eyes. Their patient help for you was a kind of effort to domesticate you. Different physical build, compared to their muscular and enduring bodies adapted to forest conditions, your more delicate, perhaps less resilient physique from city life may have caught their attention. You know, we have a gym adventure. Their life is a gym in itself. Technological items you brought, if they remained unbroken or were not stolen, they could be both a source of magic and meaninglessness for them. Perceiving as magic, the light from your phone screen, maybe a watch, even the fire from a match could have fascinated them at first. Everything they didn't know, couldn't explain, could be associated with spiritual or magical powers. They must have wondered, how do these objects produce sounds, images? Functionlessness and worthlessness. However, over time they saw that these items served no purpose in Amazonian life. The phone doesn't help with talking. The wallet doesn't fill the stomach. Fancy clothes turn into torture in the heat and humidity. In their eyes, even these miracles became worthless against the realities of the forest. Perhaps they thought their own simple natural tools and methods were far superior. They must have questioned inwardly, why do you need such complicated things? Perhaps the most striking perception was about knowledge and wisdom. While you tried to tell them about reading, writing, or the modern world, they told you about the forest, plants, and animals. Whose knowledge was more valuable? The superiority of practical knowledge. In their eyes, your educated state had no practical value for surviving in the forest. You could show a doctorate diploma, but for them, it pales next to the wisdom of a healer who recognizes a poisonous plant or can deal with a snake bite. Your book knowledge was meaningless next to their ancient knowledge inherited from ancestors that ensured survival. Seeing you as a lost one, perhaps they saw you as someone disconnected from nature, who had forgotten their own roots. They were one with nature. You were separated from it. This may have created a feeling of compassion towards you from them. They must have thought, how could they forget such basic things? Expectation of contribution to the community. Over time, as their curiosity about you diminished, they began to expect you to contribute to the tribe. The question, what will this foreigner add to us? Arose in their minds. If you weren't learning, adapting, and being useful, your value in their eyes would decrease. The most interesting part, however, is the perception of change that formed in them during your time in the forest. They saw your adaptation efforts, what you learned, your sweating, how you coped with difficulties. Development and adaptation. As you learned to make fire, fish, recognized plants, their view of you changed. The foreigner they once saw as incompetent became a willing learner and a potential tribe member. Acceptance. When you started sharing, when you danced with them, when you suffered or experienced joy, you began to find your place among them. If they gave you a name or accepted you among them with a special ritual, it meant that in their eyes you were no longer a foreigner, but one of the tribe. Holding up a mirror, perhaps most importantly, they held up a mirror to you. They made you question everything you brought as civilization. They showed you what your real needs are, what true value is, and that complexity doesn't always bring goodness. The tribe's view of you actually helped you see yourself better. When you first arrived in the Amazon, your body will likely experience a great shock. After air-conditioned office environments, comfortable chairs, cars, you suddenly find yourself in an environment with 90% humidity, 30 to 35 degree heat, where you need to be constantly moving. In the first days, your muscles will ache, you'll have difficulty breathing, you'll sweat constantly, and maybe you'll stumble with every step. You'll feel as if your muscles have abandoned you, like someone going to the gym for the first time. Humidity and heat, your body will constantly sweat, losing fluids and becoming vulnerable to dehydration. Headaches, lethargy, and a general feeling of exhaustion will be your first companions. Revolt of your feet, your shoes will get lost in the mud, your nails and skin will soften from the moisture. Every walk means a new adventure, a new wound. Insect bites, your body will become acquainted with hundreds of new insect bites. Itching and swelling will cover your body like a new tattoo. This process will painfully teach you how fragile your body is. However, as you adapt to the tribe's daily life over time, your body will undergo an incredible transformation. Every day will operate like a natural training program. Walking and running, to hunt, gather, or carry water, you'll walk or run for hours on the forest's rugged terrain. This will incredibly strengthen your knees, hips, and ankles. You'll eventually pass over the slightest obstacle without even noticing. Tree climbing, you'll learn to climb trees like the tribe members. This is an excellent upper body workout that works your arms, shoulders, and back muscles. You know how we used to climb trees as kids? Now that skill could save your life. Canoe paddling, traveling by canoe on the river will develop your back, shoulder, and arm muscles. Paddling against the water's current will increase your endurance. Carrying weights, carrying gathered fruits, hunted animals, or firewood will work every muscle in your body. You'll notice that over time you can easily lift loads you couldn't carry at first. Manual skills and coordination, using a bow and arrow, throwing a spear, weaving nets, or processing plants will improve your hand-eye coordination and fine motor skills. Your body will no longer need artificial exercise equipment. Nature itself will be your gym, and your daily survival struggle will be your best trainer. Physical transformation won't be limited to just muscles. Your senses will sharpen, and your mental resilience will increase. Enhanced senses, you'll start to better distinguish the sounds of the forest. The rustle of leaves, animal sounds, smells, textures of plants, rain, soil, tree bark. You'll rely more on your senses to find your way in the forest at night or sense approaching danger. Increased energy levels. The initial fatigue will give way to a constant energy. As your body adapts to natural nutrition and constant movement, you'll feel more vigorous and alive. Practical skills. I learned to make fire, fish, distinguish the right plant, build a simple shelter. These skills replaced the technological tools you used in the city. Forest knowledge that you once found meaningless became vital guides for you. Physical endurance. your body adapted to the harsh conditions of the forest. Constant walking, climbing, paddling, your muscles strengthened, your endurance increased. You reached physical limits you couldn't have imagined before. Mental agility, being constantly alert, problem solving, and avoiding dangers sharpened your mind. Your ability to think quickly, adapt, and make decisions improved. In this process, you confronted human nature in its most basic and primal form. You saw how few things are needed to survive and how limitless human adaptability is. This made you a more resilient and self-confident individual. However, my Amazon adventure was much more than just a physical survival struggle. It was also the story of a profound transformation. The forest taught you not only about life but also the meaning of life. Questioning of values. The material values imposed on you by the modern world became meaningless next to the tribe's simple and sharing lifestyle. Your cell phone, wallet, brand-name clothes, none of these defined you anymore. You realize that true wealth lies in the connection you establish with nature, in your relationships with people, and in the moments you share. Change in time perception. You were freed from the slavery of clocks and calendars. You learned to live according to the rhythm of the sun and moon. Instead of chasing time, you learned to live in the moment, to have patience and to wait. This gave you incredible inner peace. Respect and gratitude for nature. The forest taught you that it is not just a resource but a living entity. You learned to feel deep respect and gratitude for every creature, every plant. The tribe's harmony with nature made you feel you were part of this cycle. The importance of social bonds. In the tribe's warm and supportive environment, you understood that one of the most basic human needs is community and solidarity. Loneliness gave way to a sense of belonging. You discovered how valuable sharing, love, and mutual trust are. Sensory awareness. Your senses sharpened. I learned to feel the whispers, smells, and touches of the forest. You began to experience the world more deeply. Inner peace and calm. Moving away from the noise of the outside world, you listened to your inner voice. Your mind cleared, your soul was purified. Your Amazon adventure wasn't just a survival story. It was also a journey of self-rediscovery and transformation. Perhaps one day you'll return to civilization. Or maybe you'll become a part of the forest forever. But whatever happens, one thing is certain. You will never be the same person again.